Hey guys, it's Dawnbreaker's Praetorian here. I wanted to go over the final game in the finals real quick, because I thought it was a very interesting game. When I first watched it, actually, I was kind of upset. Obviously, I was rooting for Potwasher, and when those top decks happened, I was pretty upset, and I was calling Dragon Mirror stupid, because, usually one person feels bad after a Dragon Mirror. I never like playing them. But then again, when you're actually viewing a game, you're not thinking the same way when you're actually playing the game. So when I took a second look at the game after I heard some comments and such, I actually found out that this game was very interesting because I think both people were given the tools to win the game, and the player who made the better choices actually ended up winning. So let's actually take a look at what happened here. I have this game put up. So Potwasher is going first here, and let's see the mulligans. That was very quick from Potwasher. He kept Waters of the Orca and Dragon Oracle, which obviously is very good when you're going first. So kind of an obvious keep. From Feg, his mulligan was a bit interesting. I think he kept Singer and Waters of the Orca, which to me is kind of unusual when you're going second. It ended up working for him because he drew Oracle, but if he didn't draw Oracle, I feel like Oracle is kind of bad. But if you do draw Oracle, then when do you play the Singer? Because you're going to have 4 play points in your second turn, and you want to play the Orcas. I guess you can follow up with Singer on 5, but how good is that? We'll see, I guess. Obviously turn 1 they don't have anything to play, so they're just gonna pass. And turn 2 is also pretty obvious play. Both players have Dragon Oracle, which I guess is good, because they both have good hands in the final game. And now turn 3, I guess, is the first real decision. Not much of a decision though. You just play Orca, you kept both those cards, you want to play them. You can probably just play a Singer next turn. Okay, I guess this is the actual first real decision. Now here, Fag has the choice to either play another Oracle and Feline, or just play the obvious play, which is Waters of the Orca, which gets countered by Potwasher's Force of the Dragon Youth. It's good to know that he's only playing one though, so it's not a card you would really play around this early in the game. And Feg here actually chooses to play Feline and save the Orcas for the next turn. And some people speculated that he was playing around Force of the Dragon Youth, but I don't actually think that that's the case, and we'll see why in the next turn. The difference in their deck lists is that Potwasher is running 1 Waters of the Orca and 1 Force of the Dragon Youth, and Feg is running 3, and for that he cut 1 Servant of Disdain. He's rethinking about this turn. Maybe I shouldn't have spoiled his play, I didn't know that he would take that much. Even going to rope. I don't really want to skip ahead because the game is kind of short. It's probably not going to be very accurate. Okay, so Potwasher. The obvious thing is to play the Singer here, but he also actually has a choice this turn, and we'll see what he does. He draws into the Servant of Disdain, and he's thinking about playing it, but he actually decides to keep it in his hand, which I'm kind of not sure why he did that. The only reason you would really do that, I think, is if he was planning to evolve it next turn, because you don't really have a good follow-up next turn. There's not much you can play. But the thing is, if you evolve the servant next turn, it's mostly good against a whiteboard, but against a whiteboard you already have Force of the Dragonhood, because otherwise, if it's not against the whiteboard, then your your servant's not going to draw a card. It won't be that good of a play. And since you have Singer, you already have 2 plays available for your next turn. 2 cards you can draw, I mean. So it's likely that he will find a play to do, even if he did play the 2-drop here. And from Feg's side, there aren't that many options. We can assume that he was planning to play that Waters of the Orca, that's what he was setting up for. And I think if he was playing around Force of the Dragon with his last play, he would have actually attacked into the 1-2, because then he has 2 things with 3 health, and that would actually make Force of the Dragon not a very good punish here. But instead he chose to attack into the Orca, which you might say that's a mistake, but obviously we can see their hands and the players can't. And as I said, Potwasher is only playing 1 Force of the Dragonhood, which means that it's very unlikely he has it this early in the game. It's not a card you would keep. He's also going first, he hasn't drawn that many cards. And if he attacked into the Pure Harlot, not only would he give him an extra draw, but 3 health is very vulnerable to Disdainful Rending, which is a 3-off, unlike the Dragonhood. So I think that Feg actually made the right decision here. Most of the time, this would be a better play, I think. Obviously in this situation it wasn't, because the only thing that Potwasher can really do here is play Force of the Dragonhood. So now he's going to end up playing the Dragonhood, trading with the Phylene, and evolving to go face. Now it's interesting to note that if he had played the Servant last turn, he would also have that on the board, and he would be able to deal 2 more damage this turn. Now it's possible that Faye would have also done a different play if that was the case, but I don't think he really had a lot of other options of what he could do last turn. So because he only has 2 things on the board here, Faye actually has the option to go for the Prime Dragon Keeper into the Serpent, and he has a 50% chance of hitting this, which would be a full clear. And since he doesn't really have any other good options, he ends up going for this play. Now if he missed that, I think it would be very difficult for him to come back in this game, and he didn't really consider any other options. But I don't think if he could have really done anything else. And he gets the 50-50. Obviously everyone were having a viewing party at the time. We're all very upset at that. But he did play to his out, so it was the correct play from him. And now here I think is where Potwasher fell apart, because he later said in the interview that he didn't expect that, he didn't consider that possibility. This is a full clear with a 50% chance. And from now on I don't really agree with a lot of what he's doing. There's probably a reason for why he's doing it, but I can't see it personally. So he chose to play the Servant and then manually evolve Galmu, which I'm guessing is to have a bigger board. But the problem with that play is that that was his second evo, and his opponent is at 7, and Potwasher has an Asi in hand. So if he actually just played Galmu, he would have an evo left for next turn, and his Asi would still cost 8. So if his opponent does not play Poseidon here, he would have a little setup basically. And the thing is that his opponent does have Poseidon, but even with this play, with two things on the board, Poseidon is still very punishing because PDK clears both of them. You could argue that if Galmi hit the PDK, then this play would be better against Poseidon. But I don't think it's still that good, but because then there would be a 5-3 on the board, a 5-3 Serpent, and that's also very scary. So here obviously not a very difficult decision from Feg. He just plays the Poseidon and he evolves face because he wants to finish the game quick. He's pretty well on life himself. Let's see if I can just skip a bit forwards. And there we go, he chooses to evolve face. He doesn't actually have As in hand, so this is not a lethal setup, but I think that's still fine for him. Here Potwasher draws into Rending, and here is actually the thing that most people pointed out that he could have done differently. Here he plays the Galmiu, and he attacks into the ward to see where the ping lands. And hits the PDK. He obviously wanted to hit the wards because he's trying to kill him with Azi next turn. And he's thinking about what to do here. Does he want to kill the PDK or does he want to just go for the lethal next turn? And he chooses to kill the wards. Now, the problem with this play is that he doesn't need to do it this turn basically. Him doing this doesn't actually prevent any sort of lethal from the 1 damage. Whether he kills the ward or the PDK, he's dead to Azi in both cases because he's at 12. He doesn't know that his opponent doesn't have Azi, but in his mind he would be dead to Azi with both plays. But if he saves the Rending, he could actually play it next turn. And not only that, he can play it next turn even with a second Rending. If he top decks another one, he can play 2 with Azi and clear 2 wards potentially. And with this play he kind of telegraphs that yeah, he's trying to go for the lethal because he killed the wards. And now because of that, Feg is really scared. He's obviously seeing this Azi coming and he wants to find some way to survive. He has 1 Pure Voice Dragon in his deck and he has 2 Poseidons, which will save him. He doesn't have any way to lethal. If he draws Azi, he wouldn't have enough play points. So he just starts drawing cards and he eventually, spoiler alert, he eventually gets into the Poseidon. And that seals the game pretty much. You can watch that soul crushing moment again. Well, soul crushing for us Westerners, chilling for Potwasher I guess. But it was very exciting for the Japanese players. I think I actually saw a tweet from Feg after that where he he go-upped all of his Poseidons because that was the card that saved him, that won him the Grand Prix. He doesn't get it from the first draw, he has 1 more draw. This time it has to be exactly... No, it doesn't have to be exactly planned. It can still be Pure Voice Dragon. And he gets it, and that's the game pretty much. So yeah, as you can see, Feg pretty much did whatever he could to give him the best chances to win. But there were some things that Potwasher could have done differently, I feel. Now, obviously, he did very well. It's no small feat to get to the Grand Finals, and he just came slightly short of winning the finals, but I'm sure he can do it next time. He did play very well, and so did Feg, and I think he did deserve his win. And I guess that's all I wanted to say. Tell me what you guys think about this, if you agree with my overview of the game, I guess, and my thoughts about what they could have done differently. And that's it for today. See you guys some other time.